So in the last class, we just discussed that in order to there is inflationary gap and deflationary gap in the economy. That means this that it's this that aggregate demand is greater than aggregate supply at full employment equilibrium, or sometimes it's less than aggregate supply at full employment equilibrium. So we talked about what are the measures to correct them. So talking about the measures to correct them, we came across two important things. We have these two important tools of the government. One is a fiscal policy and one is a monetary policy. So in the fiscal policy, we talked about the expenditure policy and the taxation policy of the government. And in the monetary policy, we have what is known as a quantitative methods of credit control and qualitative methods of credit control. So control of credit function of the government, of the central bank, very important. So today we are going to talk about measures to correct excess demand. So when there is excess demand in the economy, when it is at full employment equilibrium, that is, then what happens? Demand is much more than what the resources are. So how does the government control? Government has to bring down that aggregate demand. It has to bring down that excess demand to a level. And again, we know, we've just discussed, it has two tools. One is the fiscal tool and the other is the monetary policy. So in the fiscal, what will it do? So if it wants us to spend less, what will it do? You're right, that it will spend less. And secondly, what it will do is increase taxes. And once it increases taxes, we'll have less to spend. So I want you to see this for yourself. Look at this. This is what happens when we are talking about excess demand. Okay, so we're going to talk about measures to correct excess demand. So what is excess demand? Once again, just as a revision, as I've just told you, maybe you must have found me going very fast. So in order to solve the problem of excess demand, the aggregate demand has to be reduced by an amount equal to the inflationary gap. And this will bring the economy back to full employment equilibrium. So the important thing now is to reduce the aggregate demand. And once it reduces the aggregate demand, it will lower the price level and thus it will check inflation. So the aggregate demand may be reduced by taking the following fiscal and monetary measures. So what are the fiscal measures? So in this case, simply it will reduce the government expenditure. The government will reduce its spending on public works such as roads, building, irrigation works. So that's how it will reduce the income of the people and their demand for goods and services. So once the income of the people come down, obviously the demand for goods and services will come down. So it will reduce its, and also it will reduce its expenditure on subsidies. So as a result, the level of aggregate demand in the economy will decline and thus it will help to correct the situation of excess demand. Okay, and the second thing is what? It will increase the amount of taxes. So this will help to reduce the level of aggregate demand. So especially it can increase taxes on the rich people. When the tax rate is increased, it will reduce the disposable income in the hands of households. If the tax rate is sufficiently raised so that aggregate demand declines enough to wipe out inflationary gap, if it is enough, they say, only then what you'll have is the economy will come back to full employment equilibrium. So having said that, we come to what is the monetary measures. So monetary measures are of two types. One is what is known as the quantitative measures of credit control and the other is qualitative. So quantitative, as we've even point out earlier, it is across the board. It doesn't make any difference between this bank or that bank or this one or that one. It is for everyone to follow. So that is why it's known as quantitative method. And then you have for qualitative methods, mainly it is say how to control the consumer credit, or how to talking about the margin requirement for certain borrowings that can be handled, and moral suasion. So here we will take up the quantitative measures first. So that let's talk about it increases the bank rate. So bank rate, what is bank rate? That is the rate of interest that the central bank charges the commercial bank. So that is the bank rate. So bank rate, an increase in the bank rate increases the rate of interest. The rate of interest is the amount that the commercial banks lend out at. So credit then will become expensive. As a result, demand for credit by firms will decrease. Now, high rate of interest induces households to increase their savings by restricting their consumption expenditure. So that is how the aggregate demand would fall. And when bank rate is increased, credit becomes costlier. So people are discouraged to borrow and spend. So also you nowadays we hear about repo rate. So repo rate is a short term rate of interest that's charged. If it increases, it will control credit. And there's something known as reverse repo rate. So the central bank it can raise the reverse, or it will rather raise the reverse repo rate to control the situation of excess demand. It is a rate of interest given by the central bank on deposits by commercial banks. This will encourage the commercial banks to keep their surplus funds with the central bank. So this will reduce their lending power and will put a check on the bank credit. So this is about bank rates, repo rate, reverse repo rate. So now we come to the legal reserve ratio. So it increases that. When it raises the legal reserve ratio, there will be reduced flow of credit. Commercial banks will now be able to lend less than before. So it will thus reduce the borrowings by people from the banks. In this way, the level of aggregate demand may be reduced. And let me just tell you that legal reserve ratio is a sum of SLR and CRR. So these are cash. They have to keep these reserves either with themselves. If they keep it with themselves, it is SLR, statutory liquidity ratio, and if they keep it with the central bank, some cash, that is known as cash reserve ratio. So if that increases, what happens? They have less for credit creation, commercial banks. So that way, aggregate demand will be brought down or will be in check. Then there's this open market operations. So in this, the central bank will sell government securities in the market. As securities are sold by the central bank in the open market, their buyers make the payments to the central bank through checks. So the money flows out from the commercial banks to the central bank. So this decreases deposits with banks and hence their lending power. Okay, so that's what it is. So this will reduce consumption as well as investment expenditure, and hence will bring down the level of aggregate demand. Talking about qualitative methods, so I mentioned margin requirement. So to reduce excess demand, central bank raises the margin requirement. So the borrowings are now given less money in the form of loans against their security. So this will have an anti-inflationary effect. And the other is, during excess demand, central bank appeals to the commercial banks. This is just like appealing, persuading banks. So that is why it's known as moral suasion. So during excess demand, the central bank appeals to the commercial banks to restrict the expansion of credit, and this reduces aggregate demand. And this will push back the aggregate demand to the full employment equilibrium. So it will wipe out the excess demand.